Today we're diving headfirst into a topic that will challenge your assumptions or ruffle some feathers. We're about to uncover the truth why some people are seemingly lazy while others have absolutely no problem taking life-changing action. Buckle up guys and prepare yourself for a wild ride as we dig deep, question our own motivations and get real about what's really holding us back. Let's start by debunking the myth of laziness. It's such a sneaky little word we throw around so easily these days to shame ourselves and others when we don't accomplish what we set out to do.
You're trash, Brock.
But here is the truth. Laziness is a red herring. It's a convenient scapegoat that masks deeper issues. The reality is that procrastination is often nothing more than a manifestation of fear. The reason we delay taking action is because we're afraid of failure, rejection, or even success. It's not laziness. It's self-preservation in the face of uncertainty. We've all been there, sitting on the couch, binge-watching our favorite shows instead of tackling that daunting project or pursuing our dreams. But what if instead of beating ourselves up over it, we would actually take a moment to explore the underlying fears that may be at play? Consider this. You're about to start a new business venture, and you find yourself procrastinating on important tasks. You tell yourself that you're just being lazy, but deep down there is a fear of failure creeping in. What if your business doesn't succeed? What if you invest time and money and things just don't pan out for whatever reason? Recognizing this fear allows you to address it head on. It is good to acknowledge that it's normal to feel afraid from time to time and to remind yourself that failure is not the end. It's an opportunity to learn and grow. Now, according to a study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, researchers found that fear of failure and self-doubt were significant contributors to procrastination. The study showed that individuals who experienced higher levels of fear and self-doubt were more likely to procrastinate on important tasks. And this fear stems from the uncertainty and potential negative outcomes associated with taking action. So it's not laziness, it's a protective mechanism triggered by our own innate biological desire to avoid pain and disappointment. Consider the following case of Jane. Jane, I like Jane. Jane is a nice name. Jane is a talented artist who dreams of showcasing her work to the world. And despite having a deep passion for art, she finds herself frequently procrastinating on starting new projects or, something like submitting her new artwork to galleries. At first glance, it may be very tempting to label Jane as lazy, but when we explore the underlying fears, we discover that Jane actually is afraid of rejection and criticism. She worries that her art won't be well received, and this fear paralyzes her into inaction. So again, as you can see, it's not so much laziness, it's the fear of putting herself out there and potentially facing disappointment. Now, let's look at the broader context of things. Our society often glorifies successes and stigmatizes failure. We're constantly bombarded with stories of overnight success and achievements, which obviously create unrealistic expectations and amplify our fear of failure. And this fear of, not being able to measure up to societal standards, of being judged and ridiculed, can lead us to procrastinate rather than face the potential failure head on. But here's the twist. Failure is not the end, it's a stepping stone to success. And I know it sounds trite, it sounds cliche, and you've heard it so many times, and it sounds so motivational thinky, but history is filled with examples of individuals who experienced failure but went on to achieve great things. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before eventually inventing the light bulb. J.K. Rowling faced numerous rejections before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. And these individuals did not let fear hold them back, they just embraced it as a necessary part of the journey. So the next time you find yourself procrastinating, please resist the temptation to label it as laziness. Instead, have a compassionate conversation with yourself. Ask yourself what fears are holding you back. Is it the fear of failure? Is it the fear of rejection? Is it the fear of the unknown? Acknowledge these fears and remind yourself that taking action is an act of courage. Embrace the mindset that failure, again, it's not the end, but rather an opportunity to learn, grow, and ultimately, after many attempts, finally at some point, succeed. Number 2.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Analysis paralysis. The art of overthinking and overcomplicating every decision we make. We live in an age of infinite choices and endless information, and therefore we fear making the wrong move. So we analyze, we research and we ponder until we are drowning, literally almost drowning in a sea of options. It's ironic how we spend countless hours searching for the perfect answer, only to realize that the answer often reveals itself through the imperfect process of taking action. We become trapped in a cycle of overthinking, leaving us stagnant and unable to take action. We find ourselves creating all these elaborate spreadsheets, conducting extensive research, and seeking advice from everyone, including our best friend's grandma. all in an attempt to make the perfect decision. And here's the thing, the perfect decision simply does not exist. In the book Thinking Fast and Slow by, I think it was Daniel Kahneman, if I pronounce his name correctly, he basically explored the concept of analysis paralysis. And he explains that our brains basically have two systems, one that operates quickly and intuitively, and another part of the brain that is slower but more deliberate. And while the deliberate part of the brain can be useful for complex tasks, it can also lead to excessive rumination and indecision. So basically what he suggested was that sometimes it's just better to trust our intuition and take action, even if it means making some mistakes along the way. So how do we break free from the chain of analysis paralysis? Well, it's simple. We embrace the beauty of imperfection. It's actually as the saying goes, screw it, let's do it. So sometimes taking imperfect action is better than just being paralyzed by overthinking. And I think that makes perfect sense. Now let's take a look at another example. Let's look at Sarah. Sarah is also a nice name. Let's look at Sarah. Sarah, another talented artist who dreams of starting her own art business. She spends hours upon hours researching the perfect art supplies, analyzing market trends, and just trying to compare pricing strategies, etc. She's convinced that if she makes the right choices, her business will flourish. But as days turn into weeks and weeks into months, she finally realizes she's stuck in the endless cycle of overthinking every freaking decision. Her dreams remain on hold and her art remains hidden away forever. I think that by now it should be quite obvious that excessive choices can lead to decision fatigue and decreased satisfaction with the chosen option, right? Just think about it. Every time you were presented with an array of choices, you probably felt overwhelmed. Whereas when you were presented with, a similar selection but smaller, you were more likely to make a purchase and also feel satisfied with that particular choice, right? So this phenomenon is known as the paradox of choice, popularized by psychologist Barry Schwartz. And so basically he argues that while we assume more choices lead to greater happiness, the reality is that an abundance of choices usually tend to lead to anxiety, regret, decreased likelihood of taking action, and just overall decision fatigue. And so Schwartz went on to suggest that it is much more beneficial to us to simplify our choices and focus on basically what truly matters and embrace the freedom that comes from making decisions without necessarily carrying the weight of excessive analysis. So ladies and gents, I think it's time to break free from the chains of overthinking and overcomplicating. Just, learn how to take a leap of faith, trust your intuition, and accept that mistakes are just a natural part of the learning process. Remember, no decision is ever perfect, and waiting for the perfect moment may basically mean waiting forever. Number 3, fear of the unknown. Embracing the uncertainty. Imagine for a moment that life is a vast ocean and each decision we make is a sailboat navigating its waters. In the safe harbor of the known, our sailboats remain docked, sheltered from the storms of uncertainty. Yes, we may feel secure, but deep down there is a longing for something more. A whisper calling us to set sail and explore uncharted territories. Yet fear stands as the formidable wave that threatens to capsize our fragile boats. It whispers doubts into our ears, questioning our abilities and warning us of the dangers that lie ahead. It tempts us to stay ashore, wrapped in the false comfort of the familiar. But what if we were to view fear as not the enemy, but rather a compass pointing us towards growth? As contradictory as it may seem, I've learned that it is truly by embracing the uncertainty through sailing bravely into the unknown that we find the very essence of what it means to be alive. And again, I understand how cliche this sounds, but it's very much in those moments when we're confronted with the vastness of possibilities that we discover our true strength, our true, let's say, resilience and capacity for adaptation, right? For example, if we look at the animal kingdom, consider the metamorphosis of a caterpillar into a butterfly, for example. In the cozy confines of its cocoon, the caterpillar undergoes a profound transformation. Why? Well, because it surrenders itself to the mystery of the process. And as a result of that, it dissolves and reshapes into a new form. And so the journey may be uncomfortable, but the truth is that the reward is a magnificent creature capable of soaring to great heights. And so just like that caterpillar, you too must shed your fears and embrace the discomfort of transformation if you wish to experience the beauty that lies beyond your current state. Philosophically speaking, uncertainty is not a roadblock but a catalyst for growth. As the famous saying goes, change really is the only constant. The very fabric of existence is woven with uncertainty, and it is in this ever-changing tapestry that we find our place. Life in all its unpredictability invites us to participate fully, to dance with the unknown and to surrender ourselves to the grand symphony of existence. Now, in the grand scheme of things, our fear of the unknown is but a fleeting illusion. The paradox is that by attempting to clinch to safety and predictability, we actually are denying ourselves the fullness of life. And the opposite is true as well. By fully embracing uncertainty, we find true freedom. So, ladies and gents, in conclusion, I really wanted to explore the depths of taking life-changing action and the fear of the unknown. We've unraveled some of the myths around laziness and debunked the illusion of analysis paralysis. We delved into the transformative power of giving ourselves permission to fail, and we also embrace the beauty of uncertainty, because I really need you guys to understand that yes, it's good to have a plan, yes, it's good to have goals, etc. But when push comes to shove, when you're trying to grow, when you're trying to expand, there's going to be friction as well, right? Wherever there is expansion, there's going to be friction. So you have to learn how to deal and how to navigate uncertainty, doubts, and fear. But I don't want you to stop here. I want this to be a catalyst for, a new beginning, whether that may be a new relationship, a new job, a new business venture, it doesn't really matter. I want this to be a bold declaration on your side to seize the reins of your life, and I want you to embark upon that path less traveled. In a nutshell, I think it's time to turn these insights into action, to apply the wisdom you've gained today and create a life that is filled with purpose and fulfillment. So my friends, please, I'm imploring you, please do not be afraid to take a leap of faith. Take a moment to reflect on your own life and identify just one area where you've been holding back and try to commit to that for an extended period of time to make a step forward. Whether it's pursuing a long-held dream, making a difficult but necessary decision, or simply embracing the mindset shift, now is the time to act. And in the meantime, stay savage.